My child, you didn't imagine it. I've been gently interrupting your thoughts, especially in the moments when you weren't even praying. I was still there, responding. Even when you were surrounded by others but suddenly felt a near that was me, calling you into stillness. Like this video to claim it. That unexplainable inner shift, the strange yearning, the subtle ache that lingered during your daily routine. That wasn't confusion. That was me, setting you apart, and not from the world, but for something far greater than what it can ever offer. This isn't emotional drift. It's a divine summons. I've been working within you, marking you slowly. And now, the work that has been hidden is ready to surface. You don't have to keep pretending everything's okay. I see the layers you've wrapped around yourself to keep moving forward. I've watched you smile in places that didn't deserve your light. You've adjusted to settings that were never designed for you. You've endured cycles that slowly drained your joy, not because you're weak, but because you didn't want to disrupt anything. But listener, I didn't form you to survive in places that diminish you. I didn't shape you to bend for approval. The spaces where you feel out of place are not failures. They are sacred signs, reminders that you were made for more than what your current surroundings reflect. There is something holy awakening inside of you, a stirring, a rhythm, a divine echo. You haven't lost your purpose. It's just been buried under the weight of survival. But I'm peeling those layers back in, not to expose you, but to restore you. Type God is with me. I never stopped speaking. You just got used to filtering my voice through the noise of expectations. You silenced your sensitivity so you could function. But now, I'm reactivating it. I'm reintroducing you to the sound of me, and not in chaos. Not in performance, but in stillness. I am the one who names you in quietness and marks you in secret. And I do not name what I don't intend to use. The name I gave you holds more than identity. It holds purpose. It holds realms. It holds timing. And now, it holds activation. I'm speaking that name over your spirit right now. Not the one others use, but the one heaven knows. The one tied to your original blueprint. When I speak it, nothing stays asleep. What was forgotten starts to rise. What was buried starts to breathe. Because when I call, I don't speak to what's visible. I speak to what's true. You don't have to rush to understand this moment. Just stay present in it. I'm not asking you to figure it all out. I'm asking you to release your grip on what feels safe but is slowly suffocating you. I'm asking you to trust me with the parts of yourself you've never fully trusted others with. Not because they were bad people, but because they couldn't see the weight of what I placed in you. But I can. I see it. I see you. And I've never once changed my mind about what I placed in your life. That lingering ache, the strange tension you can't shake, it's because you've outgrown your hiding place. It used to shelter you. Now, it stifles you. It once helped you survive. Now, it's limiting your expression. That's why I'm calling you forward. Not through pressure. Not through force. But because the time has come. It's time to remember what it felt like to dream again. It's time to reconnect with the passion you silenced for the sake of being rational. It's time to rise, not as a reaction to pain, but as a response to promise. I'm not intimidated by your questions. I'm not offended by your hesitation. And I'm not rushing you to perform what you haven't yet fully embraced. All I ask is that you come close. Don't turn away now. Don't ignore the way your spirit has been catching fire in still moments. That burning isn't anxiety. It's not nostalgia. It's not emotional instability. Type Amen to claim it. That's me calling the eternal within you to attention. That's your true name being spoken again from heaven's throne. Don't be misled by delay. Delay isn't denial, it's development. I've used detours to deepen your roots. I've used silence to sharpen your sensitivity. I've used tension to refine your discernment. And I haven't wasted a single step of your journey. You're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly where my grace has led you. And now, grace is guiding you forward. This moment isn't about being seen by the world. It's about being aligned with heaven. It's not about proving yourself. It's about remembering who you are without the mask. I called you by name. Not the name shaped by culture. Not the name whispered by fear. Not the name repeated by trauma. But the name I wrote into your spirit when the earth was still formless. And when I speak that name here, nothing can ignore it. Not time. Not pain. Not disappointment. Not even you. Come out of hiding. The call may not be public yet, but it is personal. I'm not putting you on display. I'm drawing you deeper. This isn't a spotlight. It's an unveiling. You're stepping into the unseen, where your spirit hears me before your mind catches up. You don't yet see yourself the way I do. I watch you rise each day with a silent ache, already bracing for the battles ahead. Before you even step out of bed, your mind is flooded with all the things you think you must fix, manage, and carry. You think about who you need to be strong for, what needs to be done, and how to keep your world from falling apart. But my child, hear me, I never asked you to carry the weight of being everything for everyone. I only asked you to stay close to me. You've placed more pressure on yourself than anyone else ever could. You've judged your worth by how much you accomplish. You've believed that you're only loved when you perform well, only valuable when you're useful, only wanted when you have something to give. But I didn't choose you because you impressed me. I chose you because you are mine. My love isn't transactional. My love isn't seasonal. My love isn't a response to how well you behave. It is the very foundation of your being. Let me tell you something that may surprise you. I actually enjoy you. I delight in your presence. Even when you're confused. Even when you're weary. Even when you feel like you've failed. I don't merely tolerate your emotions. I understand them. I know how deeply you think. I see how much you feel. I recognize how fiercely you try to hold everything together when everything feels uncertain. You're not too much. You're not too complicated. You are not a burden. You are exactly who I created you to be. And nothing you've been through has disqualified you from being fully known, fully seen, and fully loved by me. When you look into the mirror and all you see are the cracks, I see the gold that runs through every fracture. When you feel like you're falling behind, I see your life unfolding exactly on my timeline. When you wonder if you've missed your moment, I am preparing something for you that doesn't depend on chance. Only surrender. The moments you thought were wasted, I'm redeeming them. The years that felt empty, I will fill them with purpose. The tears you cried alone, I've collected every one like treasure. Not a single drop has gone unnoticed. You've been measuring your worth by how consistent you can be, how strong you remain, and how much you can handle without falling apart. But I never asked you to be unbreakable. I only asked that you bring me the pieces. Because I'm not building something in spite of your brokenness, so I'm revealing myself through it. You keep asking me to use you once you're healed. Once you're whole. Once you're certain. But I use the oil that flows from the crushed places. I speak through the wound you tried to keep hidden. I move in the very place you once thought was unworthy. So let me make this clearer, I am not ashamed of your story. I am not disappointed with your pace. I am not distant because of your questions. In fact, I am closer now than you realize. I'm leaning in, not away. I'm calling you deeper, and not because I expect more from you, but because I want to give more of myself to you. The closeness you crave isn't something you have to earn. It's already yours. I've already made a place for you. Not just at my table, but in my heart. You don't have to fix yourself to come near. You don't need to pretend you're fine. You don't have to impress me with polished prayers or rigid routines. All I want is the real you. The present you. The vulnerable you. The tired, fragile, uncertain you. That's the one I already know. That's the one I already love. And here's a mystery I want to share with you. The version of you that feels farthest from purpose is the one I'm about to breathe life into. The version of you that feels unseen is the one I'm calling into the light. Not for applause, but for alignment. I'm not elevating you for attention. I'm planting you in revelation. You don't need recognition. You need remembrance. Remembrance of who I've always said you are. That's what I'm awakening now. That's what I've been whispering in your quiet moments. I'm not asking you to be stronger. I'm asking you to be still. If only you could see how I smile over you. How I speak your name in rooms you've never entered. How I've silenced lies that tried to torment your mind. How I've assigned purpose to every battle you didn't understand. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are not falling behind. You are my beloved. And everything about you matters to me. So come closer. Don't pull away. Let go of the voice that says you have to be perfect to be welcome. Let go of the fear that says you'll ruin what I've started. Let go of the guilt that keeps replaying your past like a broken song. That's not my voice. That's not my heart. I speak better things over you. I call you chosen. I call you worthy. I call you established. And most of all, I call you mine. This is not a command. It's a gentle invitation. I don't want to use you just for what you can do. I want to walk with you for who you are. This is not about a title. This is not about a platform. This is about connection. About closeness that transforms everything. If you'll come near, I'll show you what real peace feels like. If you'll remain close, I'll restore the wonder you thought was lost. And if you'll surrender your heart, I'll return your true name. There are things you've lived through that words could never fully explain. Moments that shattered you too deeply for language. Seasons that drained your soul so thoroughly that you stopped asking why and just learned how to survive. You didn't choose the pain, but you learned how to carry it. You showed up with a smile, even when you were breaking inside. And somewhere in the middle of it all, you started to wonder if I had turned away. If my silence meant I had stepped back. But today, I want you to know with certainty I never left you in the pain. I was closer than your breath. I was holding together the pieces that would have shattered completely if I hadn't stepped in. Even when you couldn't feel me. Pain has a way of blurring vision. It magnifies what wounds and mutes what's true. It tells you that you're alone. That no one sees you. That nothing will ever change. But I want to rewrite that narrative. Not to erase the pain, but to reveal its hidden purpose. Yes, I allowed it. Not to harm you. Never to harm you. But to refine you. To separate you from what numbed you. To awaken in you what comfort never could. I know that's not easy to accept. But listen, if I had let you stay where you were, surrounded by everything that dulled your senses, you would have missed the unveiling of who you really are. I do not cause suffering, but I redeem it. I don't take joy in your breaking, but I know how to bring beauty from the wreckage. What felt like loss was actually me clearing space for new construction. What felt like abandonment was an invitation to deeper trust. The detours. The doors that closed. The relationships that couldn't stay. They weren't failures. They were removals. I was pulling away the scaffolding. So your foundation could be rebuilt in truth. And yes, I know it hurt. I know how deeply you loved. How much you gave. How long you held on. Only to feel like you were left with nothing. But I didn't waste a moment. I gathered every tear. And I was working even then. Do you remember the garden called Gethsemane? Where my son, Jesus, sweat blood under the weight of surrender. That wasn't just agony. That was alignment. That was the moment his yes opened the door to redemption for the entire world. And in your own way, you've walked through a Gethsemane season. Where nothing made sense, but your soul still whispered, I trust you. That whisper echoed louder in heaven than you know. That obedience here even through your sorrow moved me. I allowed the shaking to show you what can't be shaken. I allowed the silence to awaken your ability to hear my voice. I allowed the breaking to show you this truth: you are not what you lost. You are not what hurt you. You are not your mistake. You are not the diagnosis. You are not the rejection. You are mine. And everything I permit to, I redeem. I allowed delay to produce patience. I allowed betrayal to sharpen discernment. I allowed isolation to teach you the depth of my companionship. You wanted the pain to end quickly. But I was forming a strength in you that only persistent pressure can produce. The oil being released from your life didn't come cheaply. It came from crushing. And now, the fragrance of that oil is changing every space you step into. You won't walk in quietly anymore. You carry the strength of someone who's walked through fire and still carries the scent of heaven. Don't believe the lie that the pain broke you beyond repair. It broke the shell. It shattered the illusion. It severed the dependency on things that couldn't hold your soul. But you were the real you were being revealed. And what emerged from that season can no longer be silenced. No longer manipulated. No longer ignored. Now you see what matters. Now you know what's real. You hear me more clearly because of what you endured. That is the inheritance of your sorrow. Pain became your teacher. Not because I wanted you to suffer, but because I wanted you to see deeper. To understand peace that isn't dependent on circumstances. To recognize my presence even when no one else stayed. To build your faith on rock, not sand. What felt like the end was actually the unveiling. The place where you realized that even when everything falls apart, I don't. You've survived more than most people know. And I want you to hear this with clarity. There is no shame in your scars. The world may see them and ask, what went wrong? But I see them and declare, this is proof. Proof that you didn't give up. Proof that you kept going. Proof that the darkness did not win. You're still standing. And you're stronger today than when the pain first hit. Not because you forced your way through, but because you let me hold you through it. You might never get an answer to every why. But I promise you these of the glory that's coming will silence the ache. Not by erasing the past, but by showing how it all led to this moment. To this clarity. To this call. I called you by name because I knew the entire story. Every wound. Every chapter. Every storm. Now listen closely. There are movements happening in the spiritual realm on your behalf for things your eyes can't yet see, but your spirit is beginning to sense. This isn't your imagination. This is divine alignment. I've set things in motion that have been dormant for years. What you thought was forgotten was not rejected. It was preserved. Reserved for this exact moment in time. What you believed was lost I was keeping safe for you. What you assumed was misseed I was saving with perfect timing. And now, the time of release is drawing near. You've asked me for signs. And I've given them. Not always in the form you expected, but they were there. The sudden separations. The restless feelings. The growing awareness that what once fit now feels foreign. These weren't accidents. They were markers. Signals. Proof that your spirit is stepping into a new realm of clarity and spiritual authority. You've felt the tension between what is and what's coming. You've sensed that quiet but persistent pull toward something undefined but deeply known. That's me. I'm not pulling you away from peace. I'm pulling you toward true peace. Not peace rooted in comfort. Peace rooted in alignment. Doors that once stayed shut without explanation are now beginning to respond to the weight of my words spoken over your life. I've issued instructions in the unseen. And they are about to manifest in the seen. I'm raising voices to speak in rooms you've never entered. People are thinking about you, saying your name, making decisions that will directly affect you even though you're not in the room. That is not coincidence. That is favor. And it's not because of your performance. It's because of your obedience. The kind you offered me in secret, when no one saw. But I saw. And now, I'm rewarding that obedience. Not as a transaction, but as a revelation. A revealing of what I already declared to be yours. This isn't the start of my promises. This is the unveiling. Like a seed finally breaking through the soil. The breakthrough is happening in stages. Quietly at first. Then suddenly. Just as the earth responds to rain, your life will now begin to respond to what I've already released from heaven. The delay wasn't punishment. It was protection. The pause wasn't rejection. It was preparation. Do not confuse my silence with inaction. I've been orchestrating everything beneath the surface. All aligned to serve the story of my glory in your life. Yes, even the resistance is part of the plan. What pushed against you will now be used to reveal what I'm about to do through you. The pressure you survived is about to become power. The battles you endured will now reveal your anointing. The fire you passed through, it refined you. It purified your intentions. It burned away distractions. It prepared you. And now, I speak this to you with authority. You're about to see the evidence. Not vague hope. Not fleeting optimism. Evidence. Doors opening that no one can shut. Connections divinely placed and not manipulated. Opportunities you didn't chase, but that come to you, because they've always been yours. Provision without logical explanation, arriving with perfect timing. Peace settling over you like oil, even when nothing around you makes sense. These are not just comforts. They are confirmations. They are signs that the word I spoke over your life is now in motion. Pay attention. There will be moments that seem small, but they'll carry the sound of something much greater. A conversation. A thought that lingers. An idea that returns after years of silence. These are signals. I'm awakening vision again. Not just to direct you, but to remind you that I trust you with revelation. You are not just a receiver of promises. You are a carrier of them. I placed that promise in you not just for you to receive, but for you to release. And soon, what I planted in secret will bear fruit publicly. You've watched others step into their moments. And you celebrated them even when it hurt. I saw that. I honored that. And now your time is near. Not to compete. Not to compare. But to complete what I wrote into your life from the beginning. This isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about fully walking in what was always yours. But now the ground is ready. The timing is aligned. And your spirit has matured enough to carry it without being crushed by it. And no, it won't come through striving. You won't have to force it. You won't have to chase it. You won't have to manipulate it. It will come through peace. The kind of peace that only rests where surrender has already cleared space. The kind of peace that is not passive but powerful. The mark of someone who knows where their strength comes from. So prepare. Not by doing more, but by listening deeper. Prepare by clearing your heart from the clutter of comparison and the heaviness of regret. Prepare by trusting that I've already made a way higher even when your eyes don't yet see the road. Prepare by receiving, and not because you feel worthy, but because I've called you chosen. The invisible things I've promised are becoming visibly step by step, layer by layer. Watch how I move. Watch how I fulfill. Watch how I keep every word. You won't need to beg for what already has your name on it. You only need to stay aligned. Stay close. Stay ready. The shift isn't coming. The shift is here. Now that you've heard me, now that your spirit has answered the stirring, know this isn't only about what I'm doing for you. It's about what I'm doing through you, and what I'm building within you. Faith can no longer remain an idea. It must now take shape. It must be lived out in how you walk, how you speak, how you decide, how you wait, and how you rest. This is not just about feeling me. It's about following me even when the path isn't clear. To follow me now will require more than emotion. It will take intentional rhythm. Start here. Make space for me on purpose. Not only when things fall apart. Not only when pain pushes you to cry out. I want to meet you in the quiet you choose. Not just in the storms that force you to stop. Shape your atmosphere to host my presence. Turn down the noise of the voices that drain you. Guard the sacred hours. Not out of duty, but out of desire. Let the beginning of your day belong to me. Before you check your phone. Before the world floods your thoughts. Let my voice be the first one you seek. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm not expecting you to be a master of spiritual discipline. I'm inviting you into rhythm. Into consistency. Not because I need your performance here, but because I long for your presence. Let the scriptures become more than a study. Let them become a conversation. Let prayer be more than words. Let it be your anchor. Not a display for others, but a lifeline between us. You don't need to pray to impress. You just need to be present. You don't need to read my word to check a box. You need it like food for your soul. Your spirit doesn't need another motivational quote. It needs the bread of heaven. From now on, let your decisions align with my voice here, not your fleeting emotions. When you don't know what to do, pause. Ask me. I will lead you. Not always with thunder, but with deep, steady peace. Learn to recognize peace here not as comfort, but as confirmation. And when peace lifts, pay attention. That's often how I speak. I will stir your spirit before I let you walk into something that doesn't belong to you. I will unsettle your comfort to protect your purpose. Don't force open doors. What's from me will not require compromise. My blessings will never demand that you sacrifice your character or your identity. Start asking me to sharpen your awareness. Invite me into the smallest details. I am not just the God of great miracles. I am the God of moments. I want to walk with you in every step. Not just in the breakthroughs. Speak with me while you work. Talk to me while you walk. In the car. In the waiting. in the silence. I am not distant. I am as near as your next breath. And the more you invite me into your moments, the more you'll become aware of how close I truly am. In this season, obedience is not optional. Not because I want to control you, but because I want to entrust you. I'm giving you access to promises that carry weight. And weight requires structure. You can't carry what I'm giving you with casual hands. You must steward it with reverence. That means letting go of what weakens you. Walking away from what drains your hunger. Refusing to entertain what clouds your clarity. This season calls for sharper discernment. Not everything good is godly. Not everything available is aligned. Even in your relationships, I will begin to separate. Not to be cruel, but to bring clarity. I will highlight who is called to run with you and who was only meant to walk beside you for a season. Stop trying to drag old loyalties into a new level. Love doesn't mean you must stay connected to everyone who once knew you. Some are tied to your history, but not your destiny. Let me do the pruning. What I remove, I will replace. With better. With stronger. With alignment. Guard your heart like a watchman. Not from fear but from purpose. You can no longer afford to let just anything in. Words. Images. Voices. Distractions. They shape more than you think. Your spirit is sensitive. That sensitivity is a gift, not a flaw. It helps you hear me more clearly. But it also means you must protect what you allow near your heart. Holiness isn't a performance. It's alignment. And you are being called to walk in it with joy, not pressure. Also, trust the power of rest. Stop measuring your value by how productive you are. Stop stretching yourself thin just to stay available for everyone. Your worth is not tied to how much you do. It is found in who you are even when you are still. Let me teach you how to receive again. Let me show you how to rest without guilt. Rest is not inactivity. It is spiritual warfare. It is a declaration that says, I trust God to be God when I stop moving. Faith must now become the foundation of your rhythm. No more separating your spiritual life from your emotional or practical life. I want wholeness. I want unity within you. I want you to walk into rooms carrying peace and not just praying for it. I want you to make decisions and not from fear of not having enough, but from trust in my provision. I want your schedule to reflect your calling. I want your finances to reflect generosity. I want your daily steps to reflect that you've heard me and that you believe what I've said. This is how you prepare for what's coming, by living as though it's already begun. Because in the spirit it has. Let me speak to the places in you that were broken by words that never should have been spoken. Let me reach into the spaces where lies were planted and dressed up as truth. Let me lay my hand upon the identity that was fractured by rejection, failure, comparison, and silence. I never created you to live halfway alive or split between who you were told to be and who you really are in me. I created you whole. And even now I am restoring you to that original design. You've worn many names that were never yours. Names born from pain. Whispered by insecurity. Reinforced by seasons that taught you to shrink. Names like, too much, not enough, failure, forgotten, invisible, rejected. You heard them so often in silence, in absence, in conflict, that you began to believe they were true. But today I remove every false label, every lie, every agreement that distorted your reflection. I remove them now by the power of my voice. Because when I call you, I don't speak to who the world shaped. I speak to the one I created. And here's what I say. You are mine. You are chosen. You are marked. You are holy. You are significant. You are anointed. You are worthy, not because of what you've done, but because of what I've spoken. You were never created to compete for love. You were born from love, formed in love, saturated with love here before anyone on earth ever saw you. And I have never stopped loving the real you. The one without the mask. The one without the title. The one who doesn't need to prove anything. You've tried to earn what I gave freely. You've tried to fix yourself before letting me hold you. You've tried to become better before believing you were beloved. But I've never needed your improvement before intimacy. All I've ever wanted was your heart, raw, open, honest. The parts you've tried to hide, yeah, I already see them. The pain you minimized, I already felt it. The fears you buried under booziness, I already uncovered them. I'm not waiting for you to impress me. I'm waiting for you to believe me. And here's what I want you to believe. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not barely holding on, you are being rebuilt. Every shattered piece is being placed in my hands. Every memory that tried to define you, I'm rewriting it with mercy. Every scar that once screamed shame here is becoming a story of glory. There's more inside of you than you can see. Depths buried beneath survival. Beauty that couldn't grow in toxic soil. Strength that never had room to breathe. But I'm tilling the ground of your soul. I'm pulling out the weeds that choked your joy. I'm silencing the echoes of past pain that tried to convince you your value was conditional. You are not valuable because of what you produce. You are valuable because I made you in my image. And I called you by name. Before you succeeded. Before you failed. Before you believed in yourself. Let go of the identity that trauma gave you. Let go of the story disappointment tried to write for you. Let go of the roles you stepped into to keep others comfortable while you stayed wounded.